Dear students, welcome to today's session on report writing. Reports communicate information which has been compiled as a result of research and analysis of data and of issues. Reports usually focus on transmitting information with a clear purpose to a specific audience. We will be discussing about steps in report writing, contents of report writing, layout of the research report, and types of report. Report writing is a major component of the research study. Report writing is the important and final stage in the research activity. The hypothesis of the study, the objective of the study, and the data collection and data analysis on these lines can be well presented in a report writing. This report writing will help others to understand the findings of the research. This is addition to the knowledge. Report writing is integral part of research and hence it cannot be isolated. Report writing is not a mechanical process but is an art. It requires skill. Steps in report writing. It is the critical stage and hence it requires patience. There is no mechanical formula to present a report, though there are certain steps to be followed while writing a research report. The usual steps in report writing can be indicated in the following manner: logical analysis of subject matter, preparation of final outline, preparation of rough draft, rewriting and polishing, preparation of final bibliography, and writing the final draft. It is pertinent to follow these steps and hence it is essential to understand these steps thoroughly. Logical analysis of subject matter. When a researcher thinks of doing a research, he must select subject and topic of his research work. The subject must be of his own interest and there must be scope for further research. Such can be selected and developed logically or chronologically. He must find out mental connections and associations by way of analysis to finalize the subject. Logical treatment often consists in developing from the simple possible to more complex structure. He can use the deductive method or inductive method in his research. Secondly, the alternative in selecting research subject is to use chronological method. In this method, he should concentrate on the connection or sequence in time or occurrence. The directions for doing or making something usually follow the chronological method. Preparation of final outline. Outlines are the framework upon which long written works are constructed. It is an aid to logical organization of the material and the reminder of the points to be stressed in the report. He should rely on review of literature. The earlier research works can provide basic information as well as thinking to the researcher to pursue his subject. Preparation of rough draft. The purpose of the report is to convey to the interested persons the whole result of the study in sufficient detail and so arranged as to enable each reader to comprehend the data, so determine for himself the validity of conclusions. Taking into account this purpose of research, the research report writing has its own significance. The researcher has already collected primary data and secondary data. He has also set his objectives of the study. Taking into account the objectives of his study, he should make an attempt to prepare a draft report on the basis of the analysis of data. He should prepare a procedure to be followed in report writing. He must mention the limitations of his study. He may analyze data systematically with the help of statistical methods to arrive at conclusions. The research is fact-finding study which may lead the researcher to point out suggestions or recommendations, rewriting and polishing the rough draft. Research is a continuous process. Research is not essay writing. He must consider the data, write down his findings, reconsider them, and rewrite. This careful revision makes the difference between a mediocre and a good piece of writing. The researcher must concentrate on weakness in the logical development or presentation. He should check the consistency in his presentation. He must be aware that his report writing must be of definite pattern. He must also take utmost care of the language of writing a report. Bibliography. This helps the researcher to collect secondary source of data. This is also useful to review the earlier research work. He should prepare the bibliography from the beginning of his research work. While selecting a topic or subject of research, he must refer books, journals, research project and list the important documents in a systematic manner. The bibliography must be in proper form. The researcher must have separate cards indicating details readily available with him so that he can make a note of it while he refers to book, journal or research report. The bibliography must be included in the appendix of his research report. It must be exhaustive to cover all types of works the researcher has used. It must be arranged alphabetically. He can divide it into different sections such as books in first section, journals in second, research report in the third, etc. Generally, the prescribed form for preparation of bibliography is given below. The book must be noted in following manner: name of the author, surname first, title of book, publisher's name, place and date of publication, and the number of volumes. The article can be mentioned in following manner: name of the author, surname first, title of article, that is in quotation mark, name of the periodical, underline it, the volume or volume number, date of issue, the pagination, final report. The final report must be written in a concise and objective style and in simple language. The researcher should avoid expressions in his report such as it seems, there may be and like ones. He should avoid abstract terminology and technical jargon. He may refer to usual and common experience to illustrate his point. The report writing is an art. No two researchers may have common style of report writing, but it must be interesting for a common man to add to his knowledge. However, report on scientific subject may have most technical presentation. The scientists may be familiar with technical concepts and they may find it valuable if such report is mostly technical in form. Now, let us discuss about the contents of report writing. The researcher must keep in mind that his research report must contain the following aspects. First, the purpose of study. Next, significance of a study or statement of the problem. Review of literature. Methodology. Interpretation of data. Conclusions and suggestions. Bibliography and appendices. These can be discussed in detail. Purpose of study. Research is one direction-oriented study. The researcher should discuss the problem of his study, give background of the problem, and present the hypothesis of the study. Hypothesis is a statement indicating the nature of the problem. The researcher should be able to collect data, analyze it, and prove the hypothesis. The importance of the problem for the advancement of knowledge may also be explained. He must use review of literature or the data from secondary source for explaining the statement of the problem. Significance of study. Research is research, and hence the researcher may highlight the earlier research in new manner or establish new theory. He must refer earlier research work and distinguish his own research work from earlier work. He must explain how his research is different and how his research topic is different and how his research topic is important. In a statement of his problem, he must be able to explain in brief the historical account of the topic and the way in which he can make an attempt in his study to conduct research on his topic. Review of literature. Research is a continuous process. He cannot avoid earlier research work. He must start with earlier work. He should note down all such research work published in books, journals or unpublished theses. He will get guidelines for his research from taking a review of literature. He should collect information in respect of earlier research work. He should enlist them as in the given format: author or researcher, title of research or name of the book, publisher, year of publication, objectives of a study, conclusions or suggestions. Then he can compare this information with his study to show separate identity of his study. He must be honest to point out similarities and differences of his study from earlier research work. Methodology. It is related to collection of data. There are two sources for collecting data: primary and secondary. Primary data is original and is collected during field work, either through questionnaire or interviews. The secondary data relies on library work or documents. Such primary data are collected by sampling method. The procedure for selecting the sample must be mentioned. The methodology must give various aspects of the problem that are studied for valid generalization about the phenomenon. The scales of measurement must be explained along with different concepts used in the study. While conducting a research based on field work, the procedural things like definition of universe, preparation of source list, etc. must be given. We use case study method, historical research, etc. He must make it clear as to which method is used in his research work. When questionnaire is prepared, a copy of it must be given in the appendix. Interpretation of data. Mainly, the data collected from primary source need to be interpreted in a systematic manner. The tabulation must be completed to draw conclusions. All the questions are not useful for report writing. One has to select them or club them according to hypothesis or objectives of study. Conclusions or suggestions. Data analysis forms the crux of the problem. The information collected in fieldwork is useful to draw conclusions for the study. In relation with the objectives of study, the analysis of data may lead the researcher to pinpoint his suggestions. This is the most important part of the study. The conclusions must be based on logical and statistical reasoning. The report should contain not only the generalization of inference, but also the basis on which the inferences are drawn. All sorts of proofs, numerical and logical, must be given in support of any theory that has been advanced. He should point out the limitations of his study. Bibliography. The list of references must be arranged in alphabetical order and be presented in appendix. The book should be given in first section, and articles are in second section and the research projects in the third, and so on. The pattern of bibliography should be convenient and satisfactory from the point of view of reader. Appendices. The general information in tabular form which is not directly used in the analysis of data, but which is useful to understand the background of study can be given in appendix. Layout of the research report. There is a scientific method for the layout of the research report. The layout of the report means as to what the research report should contain. The contents of the research report, preliminary page, main text and end matter. Preliminary pages. These must be title of the research topic and data. There must be preface or foreword to the research work. It should be followed by table of contents. The list of tables, map, etc. should be given. Main text. It provides the complete outline of research report along with all details. The title page is reported in the main text. Details of text are given continuously as divided in different chapters: introduction, statement of the problem, the analysis of data, the implications drawn from the results, the summary. Introduction. Its purpose is to introduce the research topic to readers. It must cover statement of the problem, hypothesis, objectives of the study, review of literature and the methodology to cover primary and secondary data, and also limitations of study. Some may give in brief the first chapter, the introduction of the research project, highlighting the importance of the study. This is followed by research methodology in separate chapter. The methodology should point out the method of study, the research design and method of data collection. Statement of the problem. This is crux of the research. It highlights main theme of the study. It must be in non-technical language. It should be in simple manner so ordinary reader may follow it. The social research must be made available to common man. The research in agricultural problems must be easy for farmers to read. Analysis of data. Data so collected should be presented in systematic manner, and with its help conclusions can be drawn. This helps to test the hypothesis. Data analysis must be made to conform to the objectives of the study. Implications of data. The results based on the analysis of data must be valid. This is the main body of research. It contains statistical summaries and analysis of data. There should be logical sequence in the analysis of data. The primary data may lead to establish the results. He must have separate chapter on conclusions and recommendations. The conclusions must be based on the data analysis. The conclusions must be such which may lead to generalization and its applicability in similar circumstances. The conditions of research work limiting its scope for generalization must also be made clear by the researcher. Summary. This is conclusive part of the study. By reading the summary, the reader understands the knowledge of the research work. This is also a synopsis of study. End matter. It covers relevant appendices covering general information, the concepts and bibliography. The index may also be added to the report. Types of report. The scope and style of reports varies widely. it depends on three key factors: the reporter's intended audience, the report's purpose, and the type of information to be communicated. For example, technical reports communicate technical information, so the degree of technicality in the report will depend on the reader's familiarity and understanding of technical concepts. At university level, one may be required to write several different types of reports. Technical and business disciplines with an applied focus such as engineering, information technology, commerce, accounting and finance will set report writing assignments that simulate the process of report writing in industry. Assignments are set in the form of a problem or case study. The students research the problem and present the results of the research in a report format to an imaginary client. Field reports are common in disciplines such as law, industrial relations, psychology, nursing, history, and education. These types of reports require the student to analyze his or her observations of phenomena or events in the real world in light of theories studied in the course. Examples of field reports are a court observation report, an observation report of a child or a patient for development psychology or nursing, a history site report, and a teaching observation report for education. Scientific reports, also called laboratory reports, are another kind of report. They are common in all the sciences and social sciences. These reports use a standard scientific report format describing methods, results, and conclusions to report upon an empirical investigation. A more detailed and extensive type of this report is the research project report. For benefit of students to refer and understand the presentations, APA citation is presented here as it is from the link. APA citation style refers to the rules and conventions established by the American Psychological Association for documenting sources used in research paper. APA style requires both in-text citations and a reference list. For every in-text citation, there should be a full citation, the reference list, and vice versa. The examples of APA styles and formats are listed in this page, include many of the most common types of sources used in academic research. For additional examples and more detailed information about APA citation style, refer to the publication manual of the American Psychological Association in the APA Style Guide to Electronic References. Report writing is the important and final stage in the research activity.